Well, it's November, and Godzilla's 71st anniversary is almost upon us. And breaking with it is Godzilla Fest, Toho's annual celebration of the franchise starting in 2017. While generally it's just a collective merchandise showcase, starting in 2020, Toho began productions of a live-action Toku short film every year. This was done with the Fest Godzilla series, which is being continued this year with a new continuity, Fest Godzilla 2, featuring Godzilla 2000. You can tell it's separate because it has a Roman numeral 2. So I decided to give some of my thoughts on these 4 shorts, featuring the Final Wars Godzilla, just in time for this year's new series. I know all these shorts are directed by Kazuhiro Nakagawa, who's the director of Godzilla vs. Evangelion The Ride, and has directed some episodes of Ultraman Z, Decker, and Blazar. I haven't had the chance to see these Ultraman shows, but from what I've seen, it's some pretty good stuff. Unlike my past few videos, including this intro, where I've written out a script and read it out, I'm just going to be rambling for the most part. Hopefully it's not too bad for format. So let's just dive on in with these 5 short... wait a minute. 5? Huh. Godzilla appears at Godzilla Fest. So this one's a bit of an outlier compared to the other shorts that came out. It's not in continuity, since those have a branching story, featuring the Final Wars Godzilla, while this one has the Heisei Godzilla and is completely separate. But if you look at the numbered titles, you'll see it counts this one as Godzilla Fest 1, so might as well include it. For the most part, it's pretty short. We start with like a radio broadcast, we get a small military attack as the Heisei Godzilla rampages through the city. He shoots his atomic breath, and suddenly it just kind of cuts, and we just see it was all the actual recording of a Godzilla film instead of in-universe. Which is a cute idea. Some things to really point out, I guess, are there's some Heisei music in it, but also Showa Godzilla roars. That kind of stuff always bothers me a little bit. Sort of the mix and matching of a design and the sound effects. It's not too bad though. It is shot pretty well, actually. There's one POV of a window I really love, and there's some really cool close-ups. But my main problem with it is the Godzilla suit itself. I don't know where the suit comes from, per se. I don't know if it's an old one they happen to have, or this is one they made just for this short. But the face doesn't move at all. So I assume it's not one used for the film sets or anything. It just throws me off a little bit, because even with the Godzilla suits that don't have a lot of, let's say, mechanics behind the head, I still like expressions and all that. It kind of reminds me of when Godzilla won the MTV, I think it was MTV, Lifetime Achievement Award. We had a little short with Godzilla holding the award. Yeah, I remember he always just looked kind of stilted in that. It just gives you that same kind of vibe. But other than that, it's a fun little thing. I don't mind it. Godzilla vs. Hedorah. So this one came out in 2021 for the 50th anniversary of the original Godzilla vs. Hedorah film, which is not a film I have a high opinion of per se. It's a neat kind of film. It's creative. It's got like very unique things. Hedorah is a very unique monster. I just personally don't really vibe with it. It's just kind of off-putting in a lot of ways. But I'm glad I got this little celebration short. In fact, once the movie starts, it reminds me a lot of the film because it has like this kind of weird color title thing. It's got the music, the classic music. And you even see like Hedorah show up and start drinking or sucking in these pollutant air coming out of a factory. Kind of like in the original film, of course. Of course, then we have Godzilla, who's become a ninja, I guess, just suddenly appearing behind Hedorah. For the most part in the short, he's got kind of like a mix of Showa roars and like the early Heisei kind of Godzilla roars, which, kind of weird with the Millennium design. He does do like this one growl when he first shows up and he's standing there. I don't know what it's from. I think it's the first time this sound effect specifically has been used with Godzilla. I could be wrong. Anyway, we got our big title card, Godzilla vs. Hedorah, woo! And we get to see like a good look at both these suits. With Hedorah, I think it's the exact suit used for him from Godzilla Final Wars. I imagine it wasn't like used very much, and I don't think there'd be many duplicates of it. considering it had such little screen time in the actual movie, so I assume it's the original. I think it aged pretty well, it looks pretty good. The Godzilla suit, though, you can really tell is not the one they really used for the main film with Final Wars. I think I heard it's one of the spare suits, or maybe one of the promotional suits for when they're advertising the film. It's just whenever you get like a good look at it, you can tell the proportions of it are just off. Maybe like the body's a little too thin, the legs and arms are a little too long. And he's got this like huge neck. The short is pretty cool though, because it does kind of come across a little like a almost like a deleted scene of Godzilla Final Wars, where we actually got a proper full fight sequence between Godzilla and Hedorah, unlike just the 20 seconds Hedorah got in the real film. Even the music in this short is straight out of Final Wars, with I think the music that plays when Kazuma is in his plane and he shoots like the force field down from the mothership. When we get to the actual fighting, I'm a little mixed on it. It is pretty fun. There's some cool shots to it. I really love the one shot where like it's like down on the ground and you see Godzilla and Hedorah colliding and the camera twirls around their feet. That's super cool. But a lot of the fighting is kind of awkward, like very choreographed, and sometimes doesn't really like, I don't think it really sells the collision as much. I'd say it honestly feels like a stage show compared to like the other shorts, which depending on what you like, that could be a positive or a negative. For me, I just kind of just enjoy it blatantly, but I do like the other shorts more. And then we get this tracking shot, which, cool in theory. I like that we just see the buildings and we see like Hedorah's sludge fly up, or we see Godzilla's breath in the air. Which is cool, but the fact that that's the majority of the fighting does feel a little disappointing. I'd rather see more of it on screen. But then we just come to the climax where Hedorah like knocks Godzilla down and uses like his acid mist and like scars Godzilla's face a little bit. Only for Godzilla to just kick him over and electricity just kind of like paralyzes him in place, kind of like what they do to Hedorah in the original film. And then Godzilla, in true Final Wars fashion, just one-shots him with the atomic breath. And then in a very beautiful sunset, honestly, I love the look of it. Godzilla just has his theme music from Godzilla vs. Hedorah play as he walks off. And we get a credit sequence that really does feel straight out of the original film. Overall, it's a fun short. It's lacking a lot of areas to me. It feels a little more cheap compared to the other short films, which it probably is. I think it was shot in like just one day too, which is pretty impressive. And I actually do remember seeing this short in theaters, actually. I don't remember which film it was. It might have been Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, but one of the Godzilla films was in theaters for a brief time, and this was like a pre-showing before the movie, so it is the only one I've seen outside of just on the web, which is cool, which is fun. Best Godzilla 3, Gigan Attacks. So this one came out the next year after Godzilla vs. Hedorah, of course being the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Gigan, which, as an original film, I do like more. And I do love Gigan as a monster. Definitely one of the coolest of the Showa era. So story-wise, this is in continuity from the last one. All of these Final Wars base shorts do. In fact, I think this even takes place in the exact same day as Godzilla vs. Hedorah. Like, it's the night of when Godzilla walked off. And basically, we just get Godzilla seemingly about to leave Japan, when all of a sudden, Gigan just shows up in the sky. In a very cool special effect, not gonna lie. I think I imagine it's based on when he first appears in Godzilla vs. Gigan. You know, the blue gem shows up and he explodes out of it. But I think it's supposed to be kind of like maybe a variant of when King Ghidorah first appeared. You know, the blaze of fire and it forms into Ghidorah. It's kind of like an electric version, which does make sense since he appeared alongside Ghidorah in his debut film. Unlike the last short, though, instead of reusing that Gigan suit, since I don't think there is any modern Showa Gigan suits, they had a brand new one made, which was crowdfunded. And God, it's beautiful. It's super, super cool. We see plenty of like Showa monsters and a lot of modern Godzilla media, usually through like video games and stuff like that, toys. But it's surreal to see like a monster design from the 70s recreated with a modern suit. Stuff like that happens a lot with like Ultraman. We see a lot of classic monsters come back, but it's really rare with like Godzilla suits. So I really, really love this. And as this short goes, I love it a lot more than Godzilla vs. Hedorah. There's a lot more of a good composition to it, where like it feels like real fighting, as opposed to the last short where I said it feels a lot like a stage show. I think it's a little wonky of how they're trying to portray Gigan's blades as really sharp. It comes across a little too telegraphed, a little too extra, but it's very fun in the spirit of things. And we have more Heisei music in this short. You know, I do love my Heisei music, but neither of these monsters are Heisei era, so it's a little weird. And adding on to that, we get 1954 Godzilla roars in this short, which is a little interesting. I think particularly it starts right after Godzilla gets like his face cut a little bit, which a good allusion to Godzilla vs. Gigan, which was the first film, I think, where Godzilla got bloody. So it makes sense that this one with Gigan again, Godzilla starts getting a little fucked up a little bit. Man, let me tell you, this film does a lot of good work making classic Gigan out to be a really powerful monster. Or at least a good threat to Godzilla. Because the way he just slices through everything, like, cleanly, it's in a way Gigan's never really done before. I think it really sells, like, how formidable he is just to face in close combat, considering how easily he just can slice through Godzilla or buildings. And they give Gigan his laser beam that we usually only see in like the video games and stuff. We got kind of like this whole shotgun burst thing with Final Wars, but here it's like the traditional laser most of us tend to be used to. Oh, and also Gigan is able to block Godzilla's atomic breath with his claws. That's nuts. It's just Gigan does a lot of serious aura farming in the short. It's very cool. It's very fun. It kind of makes Gigan out to be like intentionally like a tryhard. And I think that really works for him personality-wise. But, you know, as it goes, we just get more of the melee happening. We get another kind of shot, like, where the camera is moving across the stage. And it's being obscured a little bit as the fighting is progressing through the city. But this time, we see the whole thing. We even get this cool shot with, like, this office windows, where we can still clearly see what's happening. Well, eventually, we see Godzilla just kind of punch Gigan in the face so hard his laser stops working. Which is a great scene, because we just get this surprised Pikachu-faced Gigan as he's just like, what? Unfortunately for Godzilla, though, Gigan just takes this moment to buzzsaw him straight in the chest. And unfortunately for Gigan, when he's trying to go for the kill here, he spends way too much time aura farming and, like, playing it up, like, he's like, oh, gotta do it. I'm gonna do it. But Godzilla just gets up, grabs Gigan's arms, holds him to the side, and then just blasts him in the face. Once again, just kind of one-shotting the monster with a direct atomic breath. Man, I hope this doesn't become a trend. It does make me think of like the first Godzilla vs. Gigan fight in Final Wars, where Godzilla blasts Gigan's head off. Only in this case, we get kind of like an Ultraman show-esque monster slowly falls down and explodes in the background while our hero is in the foreground. I think it's also worth pointing out that we do get a Millennium song again in this moment, actually, because we get like the opening title music of Godzilla Tokyo SOS when Godzilla like gets back up. But anyway, Godzilla blew up Gigan. He gets a good old Heisei roar. We get a really cool ending shot. That image was my wallpaper for a good while, actually. And it just kind of ends. A massive improvement over the last short, and going forward, it feels like the standard has been raised. Fest Godzilla 4, Operation Jet Jaguar. And thus, like the two shorts that came before it, this one was a 50th anniversary for Godzilla vs. Megalon. Personally, not one of my favorites of the Showa era, just kind of a rushed, badly written movie with a very long fight scene for like 2/3 of it. But I do love Jet Jaguar. He is one of the coolest like characters, honestly. I'm glad Jet Jaguar got a lot of love in recent years, thanks to Singular Point and this short. When it comes to like when these shorts got announced, outside of Godzilla vs. Hedorah, which of course I was excited for off rip because it was Godzilla returning to Tokusatsu. But in terms of the actual concept of the story itself, this is probably my favorite announcement of a short, because Godzilla vs. Jaguar is such a fun idea. And like before, with the crowdfunded Gigan suit, we got a crowdfunded Jaguar suit. And it looks so good, man. It looks so, so good. So leading into the story of this one, with some 1984 Godzilla music, I think, we get a small narration that sort of says that after Godzilla beat Gigan, he just kind of went on a rampage in Japan, I guess. He was gonna go home. Gigan really pissed him off, so he just making everyone else's problem. And then that just led to the Japanese government making Jaguar. To comment on this first scene real quick, I love this Godzilla rampage. It's very quick. It doesn't really add anything to the overall story of things too much, since it's just a quick little destruction scene. But it's shot super cool. I especially think Godzilla has such a grand scale to him in these. He just feels massive. But anyway, Jaguar arrives, ready to fight Godzilla, as is our topic of the short. He's got some rocket boots now, good for him. And with some Godzilla against Mechagodzilla music, we just go right in. And the fighting is honestly my favorite of all the shorts. It might have something to do with the director's history on Ultraman projects, but the way Jaguar fights is so cool. They really take advantage of this character being very acrobatic and dynamic compared to most Godzilla monsters. He's rushing ahead, he's swerving past Godzilla's atomic breath, he's doing his crazy jump kick, he's awesome. It's actually pretty crazy how much the Jaguar just has Godzilla on the ropes. It's very shocking for this relatively weak character in the Godzilla mythos to be doing this well. Eventually though, Godzilla does start to lock in. And things go really wrong once Jaguar misses his really strong punch and just punches into an office. Reminds me a lot of Pacific Rim. And Jaguar gets distracted and Godzilla just attacks him from behind. Jaguar does avoid getting atomic breath in this entire short, which I'm gonna be led to believe that Godzilla's atomic breath would one-shot Jaguar. Again, just feels very Final Wars, which is a little annoying. They kind of treat Godzilla's atomic breath like the Spacium beam. It's just the one move deciding finish when I feel like Godzilla should be able to blast it a little more on the opponent, but whatever. Anyway, unfortunately, Jaguar does get his shit rocked a little bit. Godzilla's just picking him up by his head. I honestly feel like it'd be I don't know what kind of movie, a slasher movie or something where, I don't know, Jason Voorhees just crushes someone's head between his hands. Fortunately, Jaguar does not go through that. Godzilla just kind of tosses him aside and gets ready to blast him, only for King Ghidorah to suddenly show up. Yeah, with a burst of fire, his first appearance in Ghidorah Three-Headed Monster, and has his GMK theme. The GMK King Ghidorah just arrives. It's probably the biggest twist one of these shorts have had since no one knew King Ghidorah was coming. It's not even an anniversary year for him, I think. And from what I understand, this is the original King Ghidorah suit from GMK. It was restored for, I don't know what it was, the Marubeni Corporation repaired it and used it in a commercial in 2023, the same year this short was made. I'm not sure if they restored the suit with the intention of using it in a short, or they just restored the suit separately and then they decided to use it in the short afterward. Either way, it's a great twist. And so as King Ghidorah descends and does this shot recreation from his original film, where we get this Japanese gate in the foreground and King Ghidorah in the background, Jaguar quickly realizes he is not built for three-headed dragons. So Jaguar gives Godzilla a hand, gives him a thumbs up to let him know they're on the same side. And of course Godzilla, a true pro, recognizes game, and thus we get a team up to lead into next year's Godzilla short. Fest Godzilla 5, All Monsters Showdown. So this was the short that came out last year, in 2024. It does break the tradition, because unlike the past few films, this was not made in accordance to the film being celebrated that year. 2024 was the 50th anniversary of Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, yet there's not a Mechagodzilla nor a King Caesar to be seen in this, unfortunately. But that's fine, because this is just a continuation from last year's. And honestly, probably most dynamic. So starting it off, there's a bit of retconning in place, because you can actually see King Ghidorah's eyes are different. He had kind of like the normal design he had from GMK before, but now his eyes are suddenly like blank, like gold or white eyes. It's kind of like the GMK Godzilla, which I guess might be the point. But anyway, with some Godzilla vs. Biollante music, for some reason, the battle begins with Godzilla shooting his atomic breath, and Ghidorah just shooting right back with the gravity beams. And of course, history just kind of repeats itself from Final Wars, and Godzilla just instantly loses the beam clash. Kind of worth noting, when King Ghidorah uses his gravity beams, he has a bit of charge up, like his necks start glowing, there's like lightning coursing up them. I don't think a Toho Ghidorah has ever done that before. Well, actually, no. Actually, that's not what happens first. First thing that happens is Godzilla fires his atomic breath first at Ghidorah, and Ghidorah just like deflects it around him. It's like straight out of Shin Ghidorah from Godzilla vs. Evangelion, which this does have the same director, so of course, just taking his own homework there. And then we get the beam clash. The Japanese government watching, the ones who sent Jaguar out in the first place, they very quickly see that they're not going to win this straight up. So they sent in the G-Claw, which is revealed they took Gigan's remains and used his claws as an augmented, enhanced weapon for Jaguar to wield, which is so cool. It's so cool. They made a toy of this right away. That's how you know they know it's cool. It does make you question why they didn't have this right away when they sent Jaguar to fight Godzilla, but it makes for a cool reveal here. And anyway, we just get the battle as it goes. Godzilla and Jaguar just teaming up a little bit, helping Jaguar make his way right up to battle King Ghidorah head to head, making good use of those claws. And we see more of just this director just having very dynamic camera work and action with this humanoid robot Jaguar. It's very fun. Eventually, Jaguar just kind of slides under Ghidorah and gets behind him, which distracts Ghidorah enough to take a direct hit from Godzilla's atomic breath and knock him to the ground, where he breaks tradition again, and instead of being one shot by the atomic breath, Ghidorah just gets right back up, knocks out Jaguar, and then starts using these triple-colored gravity beams, like a white beam, a blue beam, a red beam from each head, and just starts picking up Godzilla, just holding him in the air. Obviously both a direct reference to Kaiser Ghidorah doing that to Godzilla. And of course though, the bigger reference is that this is directly taken from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, specifically the poster, where you can see Ghidorah having these different colors around his mouth. I think those were something that were cut from the actual film, so it's really cool to see them in practice here. I just keep saying really cool. These shorts are very cool. Anyway, Godzilla is just kind of helpless in the air for a bit. But before anything can actually happen to him, he just suddenly drops down, and we see Ghidorah's beam was cut off because Jaguar just launched one of his G-claws right into his chest. Like a rocket or something, I guess. I don't know. The claws come in projectile. Well, anyway, then Jaguar and Godzilla just kind of share this look, this camaraderie nod. Jaguar charges into his last G-Claw, and Godzilla uses top breath, blasts it, and it's like Godzilla vs. Kong with the axe. It just charges up with atomic energy, and Jaguar just slices one of Ghidorah's heads off, just clean off. Gold blood spilling everywhere. Well, not everywhere, just kind of just in the air, but it's still cool. They took the axe from Godzilla vs. Kong, and they made it a cooler thing. But then we get to our sad conclusion as Jaguar is holding off Ghidorah's last two heads. He gives Godzilla a knowing nod, and Godzilla, with some hesitation, pulls a special beam cannon and just blasts both Jaguar and Ghidorah with atomic breath. Somehow it kills Ghidorah first and he blows up, and then Jaguar's just on the ground, just dying. He gives one last thumbs up, tells Godzilla good job, and he just dies. And Godzilla actually seems kind of sad about it, which is a little weird because they were trying to kill each other like 5 minutes ago. But hey, I guess playing Monster Hunter together makes some good camaraderie. And then Godzilla, in a nice sunset shot, is going out to sea. Maybe it's kind of inspired by Terror of Mechagodzilla, since that ended that series with Godzilla just going out to sea. And this is the last short that's of this continuity, assumingly. And then we have credits of a really weird Godzilla lyrical variant. I don't I don't know how to take this song. But other than that, yeah, that was the Fest Godzilla series. This last one, I think, might be my favorite overall. It just has some good dynamic action to it, a lot of creative ideas, some good fan service. There isn't too much more to say. It's cool. If you haven't seen these already, you can check them out in like the Internet Archives. The main reason I haven't been showing footage or anything is because Toho seems very strict on not having most of these shorts publicly viewed. The only way to really see them officially is, besides one of the shorts being unlisted on YouTube, you have to buy like this Blu-ray with all the shorts on it. But they're all on Internet Archive, you can go watch them. There's links to them on the Wikizilla pages for them, so they're not hard to find. Just go out and watch them. But yeah, as of me recording this, I'm expected that this video will be uploaded to YouTube the day before Godzilla Day. So I'm looking forward to this new Godzilla short. I'll have a video ready for that one too. Don't know how quickly, but I will have a video on that just like this. If you made it this long, thank you for enjoying my rambling and... Wait, what? Godzilla does what in the new short?